It's time. It's time for a court of mist and fury.
Yeah.
We're finally here, folks. We're finally here.
Season 2.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
to call it.
I was going to ask you that. Do we call it season 2 because we're on to a new book? I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Season 2. Welcome.
This is really exciting.
It is. So exciting.
We're already in season 2, A Court of Mist and Fury, and we're going to start breaking it down mostly into 5 chapters, but at least that's what we're doing today, right? We're going to do the first 5 chapters.
Yeah. And a lot just keeps happening. I had texted Christine reading these, and every time I'm just still amazed how much is fit into one chapter.
Yeah. I was surprised reading it again. Because, I know what happens in the plot, but I didn't realize that all of that happens, within the first 10 chapters. It's actually really cool to see, and we're going to have a ton to cover.
Yeah, I thought it was way more stretched out.
Okay, tell me about these playlists, because I don't know anything, which is, it's a theme. It's a theme that I am a person that has a podcast about books, and yet I am not up and up with what's happening on the socials with the Bookstagram peoples.
I've always been the younger, cooler one, even though I'm older.
Yeah, you can take that. That's fine.
So I had originally someone, which I'm gonna find her, posted on Instagram that they made an ACOTAR playlist to go with each book. So usually when I'm reading, I like to have my fake fireplace on, some candles lit. But then I was like, I'm going to play this playlist. And I really enjoyed it. And I've been listening to more of them. So there's some, which I will find the names. But if you go on Spotify, you can look it up pretty much, ACOTAR playlists. There's a bunch of different ones. But the one that I really like, I'll find her. And then there was some others. I'm starting to get really into it now where I'm just looking up romantasy playlists. There's ACOTAR just instrumental, which is lovely. And so,
I think I'd prefer that.
Yeah, so now I have a whole playlist of just instrumental music. There's certain artists. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so there's 2 different female artists. The first one I saw was Taylor Ash, and then the next one is Kelsey Woods. They have made their own, pretty much ACOTAR
music,
That's from cool. The different books. So there's a Cal and My one. There's a, I'm not going to say yet.
Or is it Cal and May?
I'm not getting into that again. There's Music Under the Mountain. So they've just made these beautiful music to just go along. So I've added that to the playlist. There's also Joel Sunny, who he has that Luminary song, which everybody knows, and it goes
I don't know it.
Okay, I'm just going to play a little bit of it, and you will.
I may have only heard that from you.
It's in almost all ACOTAR kind of any fantasy books. It's a very it's the go-to.
Okay, maybe I have. I'm not
song. Once you listen to the whole thing.
Okay.
Well, it's beautiful. He also makes beautiful music. So now I'm finding all these instrumental musicians that I'm into, and I think the last time that happened, I was younger, and it was when you were figure skating because you would listen to it.
Yeah. I like classical music.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's kind of cool to get back into that again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll find those people and tag them, but it's been nice reading with that. It really sets the mood even more with my candles and my fireplace. And now the playlists, my evenings are so romantic with me and my dog Carlos.
And all of that, what you just described reminds me of a scene that we're going to talk about later.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'll say too, I think these books are taking over your life, and I'm concerned for you as someone who has a podcast talking about these books.
That's fair. A little bit.
As we're both sitting here wearing merch from books.
Yeah, not even these books.
No.
Different books.
I'm wearing my Fourth Wing sweater today.
Yay! You have a merch sweater on.
Yes.
And it's so cute.
I wanted it for a long time, and maybe one day we'll talk about Fourth Wing. Who knows if we'll get there.
That would be lovely, though.
Yeah.
I have a shirt on from Crescent City, from the main male character, which is a Sarah J. Maas book, but not in this world.
Yeah, and I want it.
Yeah, it's super cute.
So today, you I mean, you get the privilege of having the first drink again. You had the first drink in our first episode,
Yep.
and now you get the first drink on our second season.
I do. And it is in celebration of the worst wedding ever.
Well, it's still a wedding, and you
Yeah.
know what? Even if things go awry, hopefully there's a party after, and everyone can have this drink.
We'll see.
We didn't see that part. I'm hopefully everyone partied afterwards, but we'll
Yeah.
pretend like it happened.
So I went back and forth between, I'm like, do I call it worst wedding ever or the most dramatic wedding ever?
I like the most dramatic because it reminds me of The Bachelor.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's what else I was
It's a nod
thinking.
to The Bachelor.
Yeah. So I was looking up, which my job is pretty much going to weddings. So there is a lot of kind of classic.
You should get this right. There's
Yeah.
high expectations.
Well, I don't get a drink at these weddings. So
You get to see what is in for
Yes,
the
I
best
do.
wedding cocktails.
So I haven't ever tried this. I think I've seen it once or twice, but it's called the French 75.
Mm-hmm.
It's very popular. So let's see if I fucked it up. It is, so this is for 2 drinks, not one. 4 ounces of gin, 1.5 ounces of lemon juice, 1 ounce of simple syrup, and 4 ounces of champagne.
Is that your dog?
Yep, that is my dog walking on the floor
Like,
upstairs.
who is that? Who broke in?
He went into my bed, so we're under my bedroom.
Oh, okay.
So he's 100%.
Carlos is going to have a nap.
Yeah, or he's chewing that bone on my bed, and I'm going to be real upset because he normally doesn't go on my bed, but
You go, Carlos.
that felt like he might have. No.
Oh, no. No. Oh, he found a new spot. Nope.
He can't decide.
You can do it, bud. Okay, I think he's done. Nope.
Oh my god. You might have to go up there.
I think he's done now.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Okay, Jamie took care of Carlos, so now we can actually try this drink.
Yes. Okay. Happy wedding day.
Yes, congratulations!
I've never been able to say that to myself.
This is your day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I love it.
Actually,
Yeah.
no.
I-
I like it.
I can't remember what you said was in it. Is that?
Gin, simple syrup, lemon, and champagne.
Okay, those are all some of my favorite ingredients.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I love it.
Okay, what are you going to rate it?
Oh, okay. Let me try it again. I'm going to give it an 8.8.
Okay, is this your new rating system though?
I'm restarting.
Okay, I was going to, because I was
I
listening
want
to
to
the
give
last
it. I want to
episode.
give it higher, but like it's the first drink, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it an 8.8.
That's exciting.
I really like it.
Oh, good. Yay. That makes me so happy. And I'm really happy your rating system's better.
Yeah. Were you feeling sad with your under 5?
Yes. Yes, I
Yeah.
was.
I'm so sorry.
Especially with that espresso martini. I was like, but it's good.
Well, I mean, if you had listened to the last episode,
I did.
we
We discussed it. We did.
we got on the same page, so it's fine.
Okay.
So,
I'm
yeah.
going to give it a 7.
Okay.
But I do enjoy it. It's...
Yeah.
I get why it would be like a wedding drink.
Yeah, it feels like light,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's got this champagne-ish thing, but it's not just like a plain tasting bubbly
Yes.
drink. It has
Which a lot of people don't just like champagne.
Yeah, it's sweet, but it's lemony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like.
you know what?
I,
7.5.
I like the gin. I like the taste of like gin, but it's not a strong gin taste at all.
No.
You wouldn't even actually know, but it's just like really subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good start to the first cocktail
Yeah.
of season 2.
You did it.
Yay.
So let's get to this wedding.
Okay.
Da, da, da.
One more sip for the wedding. There's a prologue.
There's a prologue, which is just Farrah's nightmare.
Yeah, it's real depressing.
But all in all, makes sense.
Yes, she has just come out of a very traumatic experience.
So she's having nightmares of the Chufei that she killed under the mountain. And she's trying to think of what
There's
this
just
quote
like
is.
it's just things like running through her mind, like in the dream
Yes,
that she's
yes.
thinking, murderer, butcher, monster, liar, deceiver, all like about herself. Another thing was maybe I'd always been broken and dark on the inside. Real dark thoughts.
And when she's saying those words like liar and deceiver, she also thinks I didn't know who I meant. The lines between me and the queen had long since blurred. So she's really having a hard time with the fact that she killed these two innocent fae and thinking like, am I any better than Amarantha? We know that she is better than Amarantha, but these are still the dark thoughts that she's having, right?
And she's just reliving killing them over and over again, and then at the end of the dream,
the hood is pulled off and it's her, and then she stabs herself.
So positive start to the first book. Great start.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Chapter 1 starts off even better.
Yeah.
I will say, part 1 of this book is called House of Beasts.
Oh, yes.
Because there's part 1 and part 2, right?
Yeah.
Even though part 2 starts pretty early in the book, so I'm not sure why there's...
Maybe is there more than 2 parts?
Maybe. Well, we'll see. I'll have to find out.
I don't remember that.
I forget. Okay. So I named chapter 2 PTSD and Tamlin ignores the puking.
Yeah, that's a great...
That's what happens, folks.
That's great.
Let's move on to chapter 3. I'm just kidding.
So it's been 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And things have not gotten much better for the two of them dealing with what they went through.
Yeah, they're having a super hard time. Feyre wakes up puking with her nightmares and not knowing where she is, and she has to remind herself that she is at home and she's okay, and
she's kind of, I think, she just has to remind herself being like real. I feel like I had a really just heavy chest for a lot of this first part.
And not only that, she's adjusting to being immortal and high fae, right?
Oh
so she has this like superpower strength, and she said that she... Is this the quote, the shattered face? Okay.
Yes, because I did enjoy it because it is really dark, but then I kind of like laughed at this part.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
So I dented and folded every piece of silverware I'd touched for 3 days upon returning here. Had tripped over my longer, faster legs so often that Alice had removed any irreplaceable valuables from my rooms, and had shattered not 1, but 2, but 5 glass doors merely by accidentally closing them too hard. Been a wild ride for her. But that would just be so weird. Also my dream, but so weird.
Yeah, that's a big adjustment.
To just imagine just like picking something up that used to be...
Maybe I'd try baseball. I don't know.
Twilight.
Right. Of course. She also notes that Rhys hasn't come to get her, so they had that deal where he was going to take her once a month for a week, and that he just hasn't.
Yeah, it's been 3 months. Nothing. No word.
She thinks about how, in the end, he wasn't exactly the enemy. But we do note that she also is not telling anyone about it. And I think we get to that later. Like, she's just, like, not... She doesn't tell anyone about her experience with Rhys.
Right. Especially their last conversation. And I just think a lot of, the experience that she had with him.
But she doesn't want to talk about Under the Mountain at all. I think that's part of it.
Yeah. But yes, and then Tamlin is also having nightmares.
Oh, yeah, that's an important part. Tamlin is also really struggling, having nightmares, but the problem is he won't talk to her about it.
No, like he's ignoring it. They're both ignoring it, really.
Yeah, so she thinks that maybe he's, like, awake when she's getting up to puke, but he doesn't really say anything. Maybe he's pretending to sleep, and then she tries to comfort him when he wakes up from a nightmare, and he just, like...
She says she'll, like, lie at the end of the bed and, like, guard the door.
In his beast form.
Yeah.
But, like, he won't talk about it either.
I mean...
What are you doing, you guys?
I'm no couples therapist, but I feel like communication here would be a big thing.
Right. No. Just be in your own,
Let's not talk about that awful experience we had together.
Be in your own dark thoughts. Isolate yourself.
Yeah.
That always works.
Clearly affecting you.
Yeah, don't talk about it. Just have sex like you all are doing. Right? Just do that.
Yeah.
That will solve everything.
You know what? We're going to have sex. We're going to get married.
Right. We're going to have a big wedding ceremony. And it's fine.
Everything's happy. We are fine.
Everybody's fine here.
I think I have at some point in the book, she said something like that, where like everything's fine. And that's all I could think about. I'm fine. It's fine.
No,
fine.
It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's like when you believe like time heals all wounds. It doesn't. That's a myth.
Oh, well, that's depressing.
It's what you do at that time.
It gets better.
I'm sorry I burst that
God,
bubble.
that was, you just...
So sorry.
Yeah, okay, let's move on to chapter 2, maybe?
Yeah. Okay. Chapter 2. Oh, this is a lot. This is a lot of chapter 2.
Yes.
Because they have to, like, There, Sarah J. Maas is letting us know what has happened in these last 3 months, what has been
Yes.
going on, right?
Yeah.
Feyre really wants to go to the village to help because everyone's rebuilding. Everybody's trying to get back to normal, but Tamlin is being super controlling and super protective and doesn't want her to leave.
We also do start the chapter with finding out they're engaged.
Oh, okay.
I just want to throw that out there, even though we kind of just said that. But
So a month into them getting home, they got engaged, and it's 2 weeks. And now that we're 3 months past that, it's 2 weeks until their wedding.
yes,
Which is very fast.
I was like, it seems like a lot.
And you would know this.
Yes, I mean, some people do it,
Yeah.
but most people at least have like a year.
I mean, they have like a manor and like servants and stuff,
They
so
have-
they
they-
can plan
they can
these
do
things. Yeah.
But I'm like, it's a bit rushed. You've just been through a traumatic event. I also get you almost died, so you're like, seize the day.
Yeah.
I feel like I would
Let's have
also be
something
someone to do that. I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going to get married. But I feel
Right.
like they might just be pushing it more. And then the other part is that they are using it as like a political, not a political thing, but as like a stance together.
I think it is, yeah, a political thing. There's expectations
Mm-hmm.
that Tamlin has as a High Lord, at least like how he perceives it, right? Even though he's trying to do things different than his father, he also learned from his father how he had done things. So there's still the traditional ways that things function that Tamlin
Yeah.
follows, and part of that is like perception. Part of that is like
Yeah.
Tamlin and Feyre being held up as like these figures in the community, and they kind of like owe the community to
Yes,
be
now we were going to
happy
get
and
married and give
celebrate.
you this beautiful couple to have as your like king and queen type of thing.
Yeah, but the problem is like all of this stuff just happened. So like Amaranth's creatures are still running around. And so Tamlin and Lucien are trying to take care of that. So Tamlin's like really cautious, doesn't want her to get hurt.
He's very cautious and pisses me off.
Feyre is super overwhelmed with all of the planning stuff with the wedding.
Yes.
So I think that's important to note because she hates it.
Very.
She doesn't want to do it. But she's also being like pampered a lot since she's been back, and people
She is
think
a pretty princess right now.
people think she's the hero, right? And
Which
she's
she is.
been, getting engagement gifts, and she's saying like there was winter solstice, which I always think is like their Christmas kind of.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so there was winter solstice, and she's saying there was lots of presents and parties, and
We find
she
out it was
didn't-
also her birthday.
So her birthday is winter solstice, and she didn't tell anybody because she says I had little use for so many things. Like I don't want anything else. Just
Yeah.
like leave me alone. I want to make as
I'm
little-
alive.
Yeah, I just want everyone to like stop paying attention to me. Actually, she's saying I want to do something else and then spend Tamlin's money and be groveled to. Which
Like-
I don't know, sounds pretty cool.
I mean, she's not that type of girl.
To each their own.
Yes.
No, but I wouldn't like to only do that, right? You want to,
You need to have your own things that you're doing.
yeah.
Have a life. Have your own hobbies.
So that's why she's asking to like go to the village. Like, hey, I want to do something. She even says like, I'll hunt for the villagers. Like, I'll do. And
Literally
Tam said,
anything.
no.
Can't do it.
And she learned that Lucien hunted down 5 Nega and he was injured and he lied.
Yes, did not tell her when she asked him. Said that I think he fell off his horse or got kicked by a horse or made up some excuse.
He was lying. Like, they're trying to shelter her, right? I think that's the point. Like,
Yes.
they're trying to, like, just stay in the house. Like, you're good. Like, you did all this stuff for
Yeah.
us. Just, like, relax, babe.
You saved us
You're-
all.
you're
Now
good,
just
girl.
sit back, relax, have
And
a
they're like,
bath. I don't know.
That's literally what they want her to do. And they're like, don't worry about it. We got it.
Yeah. And Tamlin does say at one point, I can't do what I need to do if I'm worrying about whether you're safe. But I'm like, at this, I literally wrote, what the fuck? Tamlin, wait, do you not know who you fell in love with?
Yeah, he's, like, super overwhelmed by his own, like, trauma from all
Yes.
of this that it is just, like, blinding him blind.
Yeah,
Right?
which I totally get. But
Yeah.
have you not met her? She's never been
know.
able to sit there the whole time. When you met her, she couldn't do that. And now you're expecting her to sit there like that. That's not who she is, and you know it.
Well, it's going to become an issue.
And I even remember first time reading it, had the same thought at that point. Like,
You're like, uh-oh.
yeah, I was like, what is happening? You know she's not a person to Just sit there and do it. Yeah. Okay.
But he gets her some really nice dresses, and
Well, okay, Tamlin, I forgive you.
she doesn't want to tell him like, hey, I'd rather wear pants and like, you know, have my weapons and my bow and arrow. But again, it's that like expectation of who they are and who they represent in the spring court that she does feel this pressure of like,
She wants to be all these things for him.
yeah, she says, so I wore the gowns and I let Alice arrange my hair, if only to buy these people a measure of peace and comfort.
So still doing everything for everybody else.
Still sacrificing herself.
Yeah.
But, okay, shout out to Lucian, my guy.
Oh.
He, if you remember in the last book, he got her a knife, a nice bejeweled knife.
Yes, he did.
So he did gift her a jeweled belt that she could wear under those gowns. So shout out to Lucian.
Yeah, I feel like he gets her more.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
he's like, well, I have this really pretty bejeweled belt, but shh, don't tell Tam. Now, okay, we meet Ianthe.
Confirmation, Ianthe.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you look it up?
That is what the,
How they say it in the audiobook?
yeah, so the graphic audiobook, that's how they say it, and because in my head, I just recently learned this. The entire time I had been saying Ianthe in my head.
And I had been saying Ianthe.
Okay. So we're both wrong. It is
Yeah.
Ianthe.
I like mine better, just saying. But that's fine. Ianthe it is.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I didn't write the book. Everything's fine.
So Ianthe is a high priestess, and she is a high noble, high fae noble, and she is Tamlin's childhood friend.
Hmm. She has come to help and assist. That's kind of what her job is.
Mm-hmm.
To assist High Lords with, right? Am I saying that right? Fun fact. Priestesses could marry, bear children, and dally as they would, which I enjoyed. Because they're not like nuns. Because at first you kind of think they're going to be like nuns. So, among the High Fae, the priestesses oversaw their ceremonies and rituals, recorded their histories and legends, and advised their lords and ladies in matters great and trivial. So, Feyre meets her, is going to think she's this, like what I was, just ancient.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to do anything. But no, Ianthe is allowed to frolic and sleep with whomever she'd want. Again, like the Cauldron's gift of fertility. They don't want to lock their females up, pretty much, which I really enjoyed. I was like, yes, you know what? You should be like...
Yeah, it feels a little bit different considering like the very traditional and very like patriarchal, I'm good at pronouncing that, is that, like how the spring court is, right?
Yes.
Like, so it's interesting to...
That their high priestesses are kind of
like above those, not that the spring court has those explicit rules, but it's just interesting that the high priestesses have like...
Spring court, I feel like, has so many traditions, and then that they're... Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right? That is like a traditional woman that has to present a certain way.
Yes. Which she still is, which I think Feyre describes, like, still covered, but, like, shows the body. It's not...
Yeah. Like,
it's
she
a real
has
good
her
mix.
she has her big cloak, but, like, you see her cinched waist. The way I imagine her is, like, you still see her cleavage.
Yes.
But Ianthe, coming from a high fae noble family, she is not only a high priestess, but she knows...
Like, the ins and outs.
She knows what it takes to uphold those traditions. So she is not only like guiding Feyre, but she's seemingly guiding Tamlin, right?
Yeah, especially he grew up not really involving himself in that kind of stuff.
He was more like not a soldier, but like a
right,
like with the army and like things like that, and like was not expecting to become the High Lord.
Yeah,
right?
So did not concern himself.
And Feyre does know, like, considering like who Ianthe is, right? Her, reputation, who she is in their society, like she might be a better fit for him. Not that she doesn't even seem jealous. She's just like, why are you... It's just part of her dark thoughts, I think. Like, why are you with me?
Like she would be better. She would be better in that position.
And she just holds Ianthe like up as on a pedestal a little bit.
She's also really the only other person besides Alice form of female friends that she has right now.
Mm-hmm. So Ianthe, under the mountain, she was not there. So her family escaped and went to Oh my god, I'm gonna screw this. Valahan.
Should
Valahan.
we find out how to correctly say that?
No, we're not. We're gonna
Okay.
say Valahan.
Okay.
Valahan.
Valhan. Where are we? Okay, so that's where she was.
So, which was another place where fairies live. Other fairy lands that are not in Prithian.
No,
And
it's
so
on a different continent.
Yes, so her and her family, they all were there, but now she's back and she is taking charge. She is helping Feyre do everything because Feyre wants nothing to do with these seeding charts of these flowers and her wedding dress. She's just like, no, you do it, Ianthe. You know what you're doing.
I trust you. They also, I would like to mention that as they are doing the planning, really where Ianthe's kind of like, oh, if you want this, do you want this? And they're talking about flowers. Mm-hmm. Feyre specifically just says no red. Mm-hmm. No red flowers. She kind of just sees blood everywhere at this point.
She doesn't like red.
No, not a fan of red. It just triggers her, so she's like, I don't care. My only thing is no red.
I think the only other thing was the wedding dress and how Ianthe picked the wedding dress and what she thought was appropriate, and Feyre hates it, and Tamlin hates it too. Or he doesn't like say that he hates it, but
doesn't he like laugh when she comes out?
Like he sees what Feyre's thinking. Like, yeah, it's like over the top and it's fluffy and it's like super feminine. And he understands that like, yeah, that's not your style, but he is also on the same page as Ianthe. We're just like, yeah, just like do it.
Yes, but then she also says not to him in that moment, hating that though he agreed with me, he sided with her. That he was still like totally see what you're saying, but like Ianthe knows what she's doing or whatever.
Yeah. Do we have the scene where, like, Ianthe is coming onto Lucien, or do we?
It's near the end.
Saying, like, yeah, he's probably just shy.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I think it's just, like, Lucien basically just, like, doesn't acknowledge it and, like, seems, like, just not interested, and Feyre's a little bit confused. Yeah. Yeah,
and then brings it up with Ianthe, and she's like, you know, it's hard for him where, like, females are involved, kind of making excuses, and he's been with many females since the death of his lover. And she's like, maybe it's different with you. Not making, but yeah. Lucian's just really not into it.
Which is super funny. Just like reminds me of like that movie, He's Just Not That Into You. And there's like the scene where it's just like, maybe like his dog died. Like, not what they say, but they're just like, they just say anything and everything as to in order to just not to say like, maybe he just doesn't like you. Yeah. It's like, maybe he's going through a sad time. Maybe he likes you too much.
That's what it is. Too much. He likes you too much.
Anyway, the end of the chapter is just Feyre and Tamlin coming back together, and they...
I need to make another note about this part. Calloused hands.
What?
She says something about his calloused hands.
Okay.
And I remember reading this for the first time. It came up a lot, and I was like, what is with the calloused hands thing? Like, now I have to be with someone with calloused hands or I'll be upset.
It means he's a hard worker and he uses his hands.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like even in, like, other books, it's a common trend.
It?
Yeah.
Why haven't I noticed this?
I noticed it when I first read these ones, and I've never been able to not notice it, so you're welcome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
So, they do the deed.
Mm-hmm. With his calloused hands.
Right. He's very sorry. I feel like he said, you're everything to me. I need you to be all right. To know they can't get you, can't hurt you anymore. He's just super scared. He's like traumatized, which was, I mean, like you said, like all of that makes sense. And she says, I know, but what about you? What keeps you safe? So, and his mouth tightened. Feyre thought with his powers returned, he didn't need anyone to protect him. But look. No, I don't care how powerful you are. Emotionally, not so powerful, Tamlin. I don't care what magical powers you have. You are struggling.
Yes.
And so there's like a lot of excuses being made, a lot of just like sweeping things under the rug. And she's trying to talk. And look, I'll give Feyre credit. She's trying to talk to him. She said, who gets to keep you safe? And he doesn't reply. He just, I actually think he ends up kissing her or something, right? So that's called avoidance. But she also asked, like, what is everyone going to call me? Are they just going to call me Tamlin's wife? Because that's weird.
Hey, Tam's wife.
And she's like, do I get a title? And he said, do you want a title? And she says, no, but I don't want people calling me High Lady. And then he says, like, there is no High Ladies. So this is a weird scene.
Yeah, it gave me the ick a little bit.
It did. It
right?
gave me the ick too,
yeah.
there's different expectations. Like we've talked about like traditional ways, but typically traditional ways means patriarchal ways, which means the man is in charge, and that's sort of like not the center of the universe, but how things maybe like the focal point, and things other people have their own roles within that. So for Feyre to ask like, what's my title, that might initially seem like, oh, you want power, you want this. But if you think about it, like if it was the other way around, like, okay, you're marrying into this, not royalty, but this
yeah,
this sort of kingdom, this court, wouldn't it be the assumption that like you might also hold a place, like an important place that would require a title? Like, isn't that just like a valid question?
I agree.
And
and she does say like, what about Lucian's mother?
Right.
But she's the lady of the Autumn Court.
Yeah, not the high lady.
Not the high lady, the lady.
That's... A title?
What do you mean? Let me distract you with my tongue.
Just talk to her.
Yeah, but I feel like
she's your partner.
Shut it down right away. It's just like, let's get back to the sex. This is a silly conversation. I kind of just felt like he made it just...
And I think Lucien says at one point, like, he is also, like, he is the High Lord and he is also Tamlin, and those are, like, you can't really disconnect from those. Yeah. But, like, maybe Tamlin needs to figure out how to disconnect from those.
Especially because like, the person she fell in love with was more Tamlin. Like, he wasn't doing all these High Lord things that are now he is doing. Like, she fell in love with Tamlin, and that... Obviously, everything's changed since then, but... So,
chapter 3, Lucien takes Feyre to the village. Feyre gets mad at him. She's like, "I tumble off your damned horse." Because he, again, didn't tell her about the nega, and they're, like, trying to cover it up. So she's like, let's, and then she's like, "Let's walk to the village." And he says, "It's like 3 miles." And she's like, "Well, we could run it in a few minutes, like we're Fae." And she said, "I'd like to see if you could keep up." And then she just says, "Never mind," because she sees his face, right? She sees his middle eye going,
exactly, that's the sound it makes too.
And she said, "I'm not made of glass." And he said, "Tamlin's my High Lord. He gives an order. I follow it. You have no idea how hard it is for him to let you even off the estate grounds. He's under more pressure than you realize." And she says, "I know exactly how much pressure he endures. And I didn't realize I became a prisoner."
So she let it out a bit.
She's mad.
Yeah, which, fair.
Yeah.
Because she is being treated like a prisoner when she was kind of a prisoner in the beginning. And I think Lucien's also the person she could let it out on right now.
Exactly. He says, "Isn't that what all human women wish for? A handsome fairy lord to wed and shower them with riches?"
I did love this part. Like, yes, you're right, Lucien.
You're not off the mark.
But you just picked a different one.
Yeah.
You picked the wrong sister.
Or like maybe the idea is like, yeah, those things are great, and also I would like to be involved in the decision making, and I would like to not be in the dark as if I'm a child.
Yes. Being like, I can't go anywhere. I feel like it's very constricted right now as opposed to what it would normally be like, obviously, because Tamlin's terrified. But yeah, it is like you're being treated like a child, and you can't go anywhere. Like, someone needs to hold your hand to do every single thing that you do.
And I think Lucien understands her perspective. But he's also mentions to her, like, I saw, like, Tamlin had his family killed. I saw my girlfriend be killed by my own family. So, like, he understands that terror and understands that protectiveness. So he also sees Tamlin's side. So he's kind of in the middle. He also introduces the teeth to her. So... we're going to be moving on to the teeth in a later chapter, and he says, like, it's basically a tax. Like, when the people of the Spring Court pay a tax, they pay their taxes.
They all come at once. They have to come to the castle. It's weird.
Okay, well, so, I guess the end of this chapter is just that the villagers don't want her help.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, let's just get through the wedding. Like, I didn't like that. And also mentions how, like, they all heard her neck break.
Ooh.
That was another thing where I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, like, pulling on the heartstrings, right? Like, we are worried, so just...
Yeah, like, we saw you actually die. And, side note, when she's in the village, they call her Feyre, Cursebreaker.
Oh.
Someone says that when she's there.
Yeah, is this, like, the first mention?
Yeah.
Okay, because this is the term for her, right? Yeah. Feyre, Cursebreaker.
Wish I had that name.
I know.
Okay. Yeah, ending on a high note for that. She has a great new nickname.
Jamie Heartbreaker.
That's right. Chapter 4.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, we'll say that villagers don't want her help, not because they don't
Oh,
like
right,
her.
yes. Not because they don't like her.
Just they're like, you've done enough.
Ben.
And also a really horrible story is she learns that all the villagers, when Under the Mountain was happening, that they had been living, like a lot of them had been like underground in like caves and stuff, and it became like super savage, and then people started attacking other people, and like
where
they got,
Farah was like a hotel.
Right, exactly. It was like really, really bad. So the people that did survive that are now trying to rebuild, and they're just like, just go to your paintings, Farah. Just go relax, babe.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah. Anyway.
I really liked ending better on the curse breaker part, but that's fine. Did you know if your water's boiling, you can put a wooden spoon across the top and it stops it?
Fun cooking facts. Chapter 4, Horny Ianthe. Horny Ianthe and the wedding.
Oh!
Yeah.
Last day for a white wedding.
People start arriving for the wedding, and Farah hates it. She's like, oh, go away, fine, I'll talk to these people. So she's really happy that Ianthe is there doing those things. And Farah said, I began looking forward to the wedding just knowing that once it was over, I wouldn't have to be pleasant or talk to anyone or do anything for a week, a month, a year. And I felt that. This is...
It's exhausting to be super social if you're not a super social person.
Well,
I even find personally doing weddings, when I am in my wedding season, and it's especially if I'll have like 2 a weekend, even that's just like a long day, a lot of just talking to people and taking in people's like energies. And so the Sunday I do not speak to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Do
not speak to me. Do not contact me.
I ignore text messages. I'm like, I'm gonna sit in my house. So I get it.
So the night before the wedding, Farah and Ianthe are talking to people, and specifically they're talking to Bronn and Hart, and they are, what are they? They're like,
I think there are some sentries. Right?
Yeah, because Ianthe's dad is like a commander in the army.
Right.
So they work for him, so like they're around.
Yeah.
They came and they walked over their eye and Ianthe up, and they came to talk to them, and this is just one of the many situations where Farah's like, oh, okay, I'll tolerate this.
And it's just literally probably the same conversations over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I just liked at one part Bronn congratulates her and says like, a fitting end, eh? Like to all the Under the Mountain stuff and everything. And in her mind, she says, a fitting end would have been me in a grave burning in hell.
Jesus Christ.
I just started laughing when I read that. Like, I feel really sad that you're in such a dark place, but it was just a hilarious.
Like, whoa.
I wish you would have said that out loud.
Yeah. And then just stared him down until he felt the need to.
And then I think Ianthe
just staring contest.
Yeah, she says something instead, but like in her mind, that's what she's thinking. Yeah, perfect ending.
Wow. Anyway. There's this other part that I wanted to mention because I think it just explains like how she views Ianthe. She like put a hand on on Farah's arm, and then Farah thought, I knew then that she'd inspired hordes of young Fae females to join her order, not for worshipping their mother in Cauldron, but to learn how she lived. How she could shine so brightly and love herself, move from male to male as if they were dishes at a banquet. So she like really like looks up to how she moves about the world.
I feel like she probably just has like this confidence that Farah's really lacking right now. I think especially with Tamlin, like feeling obviously that she's not up to that high standard or whatever, that she keeps looking at Ianthe and seeing.
Yeah. Do you want to get to the wedding?
Sure do.
Okay.
Can I just say, so she's all dressed up, and they're describing it again, and all as I can picture is Rachel Green and Friends when she walks out in that bridesmaids.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Right? That is what I pictured.
Like really, really poofy and tulle, and yeah.
So that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And it's not a cute look.
I still think in my head she looked beautiful. It just wasn't what Farah would ever pick out for herself.
I agree.
And Alice says, you look beautiful. And she says, thank you. And she says, and Alice says, you sound like you're going to a funeral.
Yeah.
Which, love you, Alice. Love you.
Always love your honesty and appreciate that honesty.
So she's walking down the aisle. She sees the red petals. And we noted Ianthe.
You had one job.
Ianthe.
One job.
No red.
No red. How hard is that?
So either you're an
You're in a
asshole,
spring court.
or you just did whatever you wanted and didn't consider Feyre's.
So you weren't listening to her the entire time.
Yeah.
And weren't, that part pissed me off.
Yeah. So she starts to have a panic attack. She's hot, shaking, losing vision, panicking.
And for anyone who's ever had a panic attack, it's awful. And then to be in a wedding dress and have everybody looking at you, and then you're seeing blood everywhere. It's not the wedding I would want.
She says, as inescapable as the vow I was about to make, binding me to him forever, shackling him to my broken and weary soul. It's dark, Feyre.
Yeah.
But she just says, help me, help me, help me in her head, and save me, please, save me, get me out, end this. These are like the thoughts she's having, and she's looking at Lucian, she's looking at Tamlin, she's looking at Ianthe.
And she's stopped at this point.
She's stopped down the aisle, and she's just looking at them like, trying to say in her eyes, help me.
Yes.
But she can't say it out loud, because it's like, don't ruin the wedding.
Yeah. Tamlin's like holding out his hand at this point, and she's just in pure panic meltdown mode. But then there's a crack. Is that going to be too loud?
It's very loud.
And we hear, "Hello, Feyre, darling."
Okay, wait.
Oh
Wait.
no! Did I get too excited? Got to.
No. She says, "I whirled and through the night, drifting away like simple on the wind."
That's after they leave.
No.
Oh. Okay, we're gonna look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that at all. I whirled, and through the night, drifting away like smoke on a wind, I found Rhysand straightening the lapels of his black jacket. "Hello, Feyre, darling," he purred.
Hello, Feyre, darling.
Oh, that was good. No, I think that was better.
But I wanted to set up the scene where he just goes like,
Hey guys, I'm here.
You called?
Hello.
Rang. It's me.
Yeah. Should have been expecting me, really.
I mean, it sounds like fun. It sounds like fun to be him in this situation.
Right? He has a lot of good, I feel like those little movements with just like the lapels and just be like, oh. And he's always in my mind.
And Tamlin's probably so mad, which makes this better. He's like,
it's my wedding day.
Why are you here again?
Tamlin doesn't have the nicest voice, apparently.
Yeah, I haven't slept in 3 months.
Just guard the door.
Anyway. Chapter 5.
This wedding just got even more dramatic.
I love the switch up.
I do.
And I think we talked about earlier how much stuff happens within the first 10 chapters, but like I do like how Sarah J. Maas keeps it moving. Like this was such a good pace. We're like, okay, now Feyre's at the
Chapter 5, we're already at the wedding.
And she, a really good quote from Rhysand. He says, "What a pretty little wedding."
I think I also, He's another like Amarantha with the lines. It's always written that he has his like hands in his pockets.
You right, casual.
Which I love because he's like, I'm so powerful. I don't need to have my hands out with like knives or anything. I'm just gonna chill
and just he's just Charles Melton, the little curl over his forehead too, and he's like, "What, me? Tamlin says, "Get out," and he said, "Was I interrupting? I thought it was over." What? At least Feyre seemed to think so. And Feyre is horrified.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it so much, though. Such a great, like, just villain line, again, with, like, the Amarantha.
Basically, he's like, he's come to fulfill the bargain. He's like, let's go, Feyre, it's time.
Yep. He knew Feyre was going to say no.
Right.
And Ianthe has taken off.
She's gone.
Yeah.
She's gone.
So, nice friend you got there,
Bye,
Feyre and Tamlin.
Anyway, they go to the night court. Tamlin doesn't fight it because he knows that he can't do anything.
Yeah, and she kind of looks at him like, what? Like, you're just gonna...
Let me go?
Like, he reminds him with the bargain, you can't go against it.
Yeah.
And so he takes her to the night court and she just says, like, I hated him. Like, she's so mad at him in that
because
moment.
all the descriptions that she's heard of the night court are like, it's horrible and it's like whatever.
You're gonna be
she's
tortured.
like, she's scared.
Yeah.
But she gets there and she thinks that it's the most beautiful place she's ever seen.
Yeah.
So a twist here.
Yeah, was not expecting it.
She said, I smelled jasmine first, then saw stars, a sea of stars flickering beyond glowing pillars of moonstone that framed the sweeping view of endless Snowscape Mountains. That is my. That is where I want to live for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I changed my court pick.
Yeah.
Night
We're
court.
just gonna go there.
Yeah.
Perched on top of one of the Greystone Mountains, the halls were open to the elements. No windows, just towering pillars and gossamer curtains.
But it's
And
warm.
it was warm.
Like
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Take me there now. So, doesn't sound very scary.
No, it sounds wonderful, but Feyre's still mad. Feyre's still mad.
She's pissed.
You're welcome, for saving you when you asked. No, I didn't want help. She says something like that. And he said, he taps the eye and he says, I heard it loud and clear. And she said, what do you want from me? And he said, what? I want you to say thank you, first of all, and then I want you to take off that hideous dress. You look exactly like that doe-eyed damsel he and that simpering priestess want you to be.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, that's a big slap in the face.
But he's clever.
Yeah. He's nothing but honest and then sometimes mysterious, and we never know what's going on, but still.
Right.
I don't disagree with him on that comment.
She says, you don't know anything about me or us. He says, does he ever ask you why you hurl your guts up every night, or why you can't go into certain rooms or see certain colors?
He knows about the red.
He knows.
He's really just like slapping her in the face with reality.
Mm-hmm.
And just...
Like, hey, you and Tamlin have been ignoring things. Like, you guys are not talking, and I know that you're not talking.
Yeah, and you guys are both just having these nightmares and getting sick, and you're clearly traumatized. You look awful.
He's still the coach. He
is. Really, like
guys,
life coach
guys,
at this
what are
point.
you doing, guys? Guys.
Yeah. It's looking rough over there.
He reassures her that you're a guest, you're not a prisoner, you're safe, you can go wherever you want. Like, the court that you're so afraid of, that's below the mountain. They don't, like, this is my private quarters. Like, they're not coming up to get you. Within the interaction, he ends up walking away. She gets to the room, but she throws her shoe at him.
Takes off it's a slipper. I think it's like a silk slipper.
Yeah, whatever she's wearing, her wedding shoe, and then
just throws it at him. And then
she throws the other one though.
Yeah,
and he goes, interesting.
He does also he mentions
which would
at
make
one
me
point,
more mad. It would make me more mad
with the shoe.
Yeah. No. If you throw the shoe,
that was his response,
and then he goes interesting, and then.
But what's interesting? You always just say things and walk away, which he does. He does mention at one point that people dwell below the mountain where they are, which I want to point out because she was expecting obviously all these other things. So now she's above the mountain, not under the mountain.
Ooh. No, that's important because Amarantha had mimicked like what she thought the night court was as under the mountain. So that was a good clarification of like, okay, whatever you think that like under the mountain was, like whatever exists in the night court, this is not existing in my private quarters. We are like she gets this really gorgeous room in Rhysand's living quarters.
Beautiful.
Right? And, okay, I did note the best thing about these living quarters, which was the bath.
I literally just, if you look right here, I just have highlighted the bath. You just
highlighted the bath. Okay.
Yeah. Which recently I've become a bath person, so baths are even more exciting for me now.
Well, I'm a bath person if it's a really cool bath like this. The bath hanging off the side of the mountain. And she says the words like, open, airy, plush, calm about this room. There's candles and there's...
it just sounds...
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And she just, like, I don't know. She does her thing. She goes to bed. She wonders how she's going to explain this to Tamlin.
I also do, like, she looks down at herself at one point. It's just like, you look ridiculous.
Well, you knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, breakfast the next morning.
She feels that, right?
She feels the tug. So, the same tug that she felt at the end of A Court of Thorns and Roses. When she, at the end of the book. And she knew that it was Rhysand, like, tugging, like, hey. But it's, like, in their bond, like, in the...
And now she just knows.
She knows that it's him saying, like, hey, hurry up. Nuella and, oh my god. I didn't realize I didn't.
Cerridwen. We need to look up how to say their names.
Because I only say it in my head.
Yeah, okay.
Cerridwen. Cerridwen. Okay. I
like it, though. Cerridwen. Next pet name.
Okay, now that we've Googled it, I completely forget. Nuala.
I told you.
Nuala.
Sure.
Nuala.
Nuala. Caradwin?
No, I thought it was Cyrodiil,
Oh,
but it's Caradwin.
yeah. So they're back.
We can do it. Nuala and Caradwin. They are the shadowy Fae women that from under the mountain that was helping Farah bathe and get ready for the parties that worked for Rhys. But she can now see them and they're more fully formed. Right?
Yes.
They're not as shadowy to her anymore, but they're waking up for breakfast, they're getting her clothes and all of those things. So, hi, girls.
Hey. Do you think they're not as shadowy now because they're being less hidden, or is it because she's Fae?
I thought of it as they were doing it purposefully.
Okay.
Like, they knew how much to show her. Like, that's part of their thing, right?
Yeah. That just question came to my mind, so I was curious.
Okay. That's what I thought anyway.
Yeah. No, same. Okay, so...
What?
Rhys is a tappin'.
Tappin'? Oh,
Pullin'.
A pullin'.
A pullin'. He's a pullin' and a tappin'.
So she goes to breakfast and then they have a convo. And one of the really interesting things that comes from the convo is that she's asking about like the night courts. Like, yeah, I thought it was always night. Which was something I misunderstood because we did have this conversation in one of our previous episodes, right? Where I was like, well, we're going to need some vitamin D. That's not true. That's not true. So okay, you can go ahead.
I highlighted it, guys. The nature of the season courts, he said, is linked to their high lords whose magic and will keeps them in eternal spring or winter or fall or summer. It had always been like that, some sort of strange stagnation. But the solar courts, day, dawn, and night, are of a more symbolic nature. We might be powerful, but even we cannot alter the sun's path or strength. Tea? He asked for tea if she wants tea after.
It's super interesting because even as someone who has read this book multiple times, I didn't remember that.
No, and I felt like at one point I was questioning it all again. I'm like, why is it like this? Like, yeah. I have it highlighted now, and we have it on record in our recordings. He also does make a comment about how small she is, like how horrible she looks. You know, just being the complimentary man that he is.
Well, he doesn't say it like
No,
that.
he doesn't.
Just that she lost weight. Like he's concerned, right? Like you're super skinny. What's going on? And then they have a conversation about their bond because she's confused too. Like, how does this work? We made this bargain, but there seems to be something different, right?
Yeah.
So he basically says like there is a bridge between them that has like the end has a door to their minds. And even though like Rhys has a separate talent for slipping into people's minds, that plays into it, but like that's not exactly the bond. Like he tells her like that when she has her shield up in her mind, but when she works up, it vanishes. And it can feel like she's shouting at him through the bond. So he's not like seeking to look into her head. Sometimes it's just like it comes through. Yeah.
And when extreme things are happening, it really comes through. Mm-hmm. Whether she knows it or not.
Yeah.
So it's nice that, that's explained.
Yeah, and he says I could teach you how to have a shield so that it's not just like you're vulnerable like that. Like you can put up a shield so that people can't get into your mind. People like us people like Rhys who
people like you and Rhys who can get into people's minds.
Who can access people's minds. And then she says like, what are we doing during this week? And he says we're gonna learn to read.
You made it sound so casual.
Oh, sorry, was it not?
No, she's kind of like, what do you want with me? You said you'd tell me here, so tell me.
Oh.
Yeah, it was much more like, okay, what's happening? What am I doing? You would also appreciate this, because Rhys leaned back in a chair, folding powerful arms, said, for this week, I want you to learn how to read. Another smooth move. Rhys. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Casting call.
Oh.
No, that was so bad.
That was...
Casting call.
Wow, that was
my worst one.
That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful.
I didn't practice.
One of the best.
Maybe.
We got some goodies today.
Yeah.
We have to. I know that maybe the instinct is to go like the least important to the most important, but I need to get Ianthe out of the way.
That's fair.
Okay, you go first with your Ianthe. I'm like super curious who you have for Ianthe.
Okay, so I have two people like always.
Okay, I have like 7.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to tell you about all 7.
I'm going to just tell you 2. Well,
Okay.
I have 2. Anna Camp.
Who's that?
Pitch Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The like blonde like head of things, or Laura Vanderboot, I believe her name is. She's actually a Canadian actress. I will show you, but you know who I mean, who Anna Camp is though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, it's not Vanderboot. That's a lie. It was Vandervoort. Vandervoort. Okay, so Laura Vandervoort. She's been in like Handmaid's Tale, Smallville. This is who she is. Yeah. So I have her, Anna Camp.
Okay. Yeah, no, she her looks for sure. She has Ianthe vibes.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Okay.
I don't know about Anna Camp. I don't know.
No? Because I feel like she
Maybe.
can kind of be like that. Like
No, she
very
has a
like in
personality
charge.
for sure.
Personality. It's also like kind of a role she plays.
That's and that's a super hard thing when it comes to Ianthe is like she needs to have this outward worldly confidence
Yes.
where she is like so good with people and also like super nurturing. It seems like so smart and just can like float around a room, right?
Okay, now I want to know who yours is.
Okay. I'll say who my first one who is like no longer the person, but who I imagined when I was reading the books.
Okay.
Which is Juno Temple.
Ooh. Yeah, I could see that.
Yes.
Yeah, I love her, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also thought, as a side note, I know Amarantha is dead, but she might be a good Amarantha. Stop it.
No. Do you want to know my new Amarantha?
Who?
Sophie Turner.
Oh, that was my other one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So
Yeah,
that's Amarantha then. I was
I
like,
can't
yes.
believe I forgot Sophie Turner
Same.
because she was on my list, like, initially
Yeah.
before we started talking about.
Like when we had
the
originally
casting
just
call?
randomly talked about it.
Yes.
She was on my list and I had completely forgotten about her.
Okay.
She would be so good as that. Okay.
Yeah, I had forgotten about her, and then I saw her as I was thinking about Juno, and then for some reason, I don't know why she came up, but I saw her face again, and I was like, why haven't we talked about her?
Yeah. I'm shocked.
Okay, so can we officially cast Sophie Turner then?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my
100%.
god, we can put this to bed.
Finally.
We can put this to bed. Amarantha is dead, we can put this to bed.
Yeah.
It's Sophie Turner.
Finally casted. Oh, and she would be really good at those one-liners.
She would.
Yeah.
She's funny.
Okay, who's
Okay.
your second?
Juno, well, I wasn't counting Juno Temple because she was just who I imagined
Right,
while
yes,
reading the
okay.
book, but she's not now maybe who I would cast
No,
her.
I wouldn't cast her, but
Okay.
I get how you saw her.
So I think my number one might be Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh, that's an interesting one, yes.
And the other one is Emma Roberts.
No. No.
I feel like Chloe's my number one though because I think she could do it. Like her like snarkiness.
And she kind of has
Not
more
that
that
not that
softer-
Ianthe is snarky, but she needs to have like some.
No, that's a
wit.
really good pick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, then I'm gonna go with Chloe.
Yeah, I like that. Mine are older choices also, but I'm picturing them younger.
I know.
That's
I
the
know.
hard part. Like, because when I'm thinking about it, like I'm picturing them younger, but I know they're older now.
Yeah.
But Chloe's, yeah, I like that choice.
Okay.
Okay, good choice.
And now I'm gonna screw this up again. New Alla and Caradwin.
Okay, now you have to go first.
Okay. Mine are like not known, so I feel like I have to like show you. Well, look, these ones are really hard to cast because I'll give you a tidbit. These two are gonna like they're not gonna go away, which is one of the reasons why we're casting them.
Yeah.
But they're also just like we don't know much about them,
No.
so it's kind of like it's not that hard to cast them. It's more just like
I have two different castings.
okay, and also like we are casting or I'm casting an individual person, thinking they're gonna do like what's that called? That Lindsay Lohan movie.
Parent Trap?
It's gonna be a Parent Trap where one person is playing two
Yeah.
people.
told Mom Christina's really into the book. She's like, oh, are you going to bring her onto your podcast? Oh, I love her.
Okay, so Rowan Blanchard.
I just like love her as an actress. I
And-
love the
oh
Disney
my God.
Channel.
Yeah, what is the show called? Why am I...
She was at Girl Meets World.
Girl Meets World. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a great choice.
Okay.
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Oh, stop. They...
They look great for their age. They need to make an acting comeback. They have like that. The
How old are they?
cheekbones.
How old are they?
I'm pretty sure they're my age. But they have like the eyes. You know?
No, I agree. No, I know
Like the
your line of thinking.
cheekbones, right? Just everything. They are 37.
They're 37, which is fine. No, I know your line of thinking because at one point I was looking up big-eyed actresses.
Right? Like, and that just, they have that, like, and you think of them like their big clothing and they have like the tiny bodies, but they're like strong looking.
I think we're on the same page, like, with these characters.
Which,
right?
I mean, she does kind of look like them a little bit when you kind of like the big eyes.
She could be a
and-
cousin.
Yeah.
She could be a cousin for sure.
My other choice, I believe they're both 40 plus, but they look great again. Olivia Munn and Olivia Wilde.
For the twins?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That was my other. My
Olivia
second.
Olivia Wilde was one of my previous Ianthe picks.
Ooh.
But then I was like, she doesn't like fit, but like,
She
could do it.
She could do it. I like her for that.
oh, okay, I'll give you my alternative Ianthe if we're just throwing him in there. Natalie Dormer.
Oh, yeah. I feel like you see her a lot for like ACOTAR casting.
Yeah.
She's a popular. I do like her. I think I've
'Cause
seen her
she's-
as Ianthe.
Because she's in Game of Thrones, and like, that character in Game of Thrones is like, feels similar to Ianthe.
Yeah. But then it's like, so I don't want to do it. Moving on.
Yeah.
MVP.
Who's yours?
The toilet.
What?
The toilet that Farah has been puking in.
We're just doing things now.
No, I don't. That was literally the first thing that came to my mind. And I was like, I know I have an MVP pick. I was just like, no, the toilet. No, the toilet's not me.
Well, now I want mine to be the bath.
You know what? Let's just do that. It's our day. It's our wedding day. It's our
Rhysand's
podcast.
quarters with the
Mm.
open pillars and the gossamer curtains and the infinity bath and the candles and
Yeah.
the warmth but the cold and the perfect temperature and the fluffy pillows. You win.
Yeah.
You win.
Okay. Well, my winner is Farah's spring court bathroom for really just holding her up through this rough time.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. My original MVP was Rhysand just for the wedding scene.
Yeah. That's boring. I like his
I
house
know.
better.
No, I'm gonna go with the bath. No,
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Do the bath, yeah. And Alice, just for that one line.
Oh, Alice was good. That's a good pick too.
Yeah.
Look, we have four. We have four
my
different
God.
MVPs, and they all
You look
are
like you're going to a
deserving.
funeral. I don't know why I made her sound
I
like
love her.
that.
She reminds me of someone, and I don't know who it is yet.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll
I
figure it
almost
out.
want her to be like Meryl Streep.
Ooh. Like a little Delaware Prada Meryl Streep.
Yes.
Walking around the spring court
Yeah.
with her tree bark skin. Okay, those are great picks, I think. No?
I love them. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're really excited to get into the next stuff,
Yeah.
and we're
Thank
gonna have
you for
more-
coming to the wedding.
Yes, thank you for coming to my wedding. Oh my god, thanks you for your gifts. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I just peed a little.